For more now on CPAC and the Jeb Bush boomlet, I'm joined by Craig Crawford, politics blogger at craigcrawford.com and author of The Politics of Life. Craig, welcome.
Hey, have you got a tinfoil hat? We might need that for this segment.
Well, I mean, let's talk about this because, you know, nothing in this campaign has gone the way that people anticipated. Now, you blogged today about the possibility of a brokered convention, a brokered GOP for Jeb. Is there still, like, sort of elements of the GOP that's sort of holding out for this?
Well, I was really struck at this thing, Sam, how many people are, like, cruising the buffet and deciding none of it looks very appetizing and looking for another restaurant. There's a lot of dissatisfaction. They look at Romney and they're worried that maybe he's not so electable after all, but most importantly, these conservatives don't trust him. There was a lot of griping about, not griping, but sort of backing away from using the phrase, I was a severe conservative. It's like one person said, that's what liberals say about us. We don't say that about ourselves, and that's certainly a long way from compassionate conservative. And then, you know, Santorum, their hearts are with him, and they want to go with him, but they fear the liberals will tear him up, and then they just don't know what to make of Gingrich. And so as a result, there's a lot of talk about more reasonable and pragmatic people like Ralph Reed of the Christian Coalition openly talking about maybe this thing goes all the way to the convention and we don't have a nominee by then.
Well, and let's for a moment, indulge me. This thing does go all the way to the convention. What are the factors, what elements of the Republican Party are going to rip apart here? Because it seems to me that the Tea Party, if they can get to the convention, they could be pretty angry at that point.
If they had settled on someone, I mean, for example, if they settle on Santorum, and I think that he's going to do well in this straw poll tomorrow, I would bet money that he's going to win it. If they decide he's our man, and the establishment takes that away from them, that's a scenario that would just be ballistic inside the Republican Party. But if they just go to the convention divided, and there's some other person that comes out of the mix, I mean, what we're looking at mathematically, Sam, is the real possibility. I'd say we're beyond possible and moving toward probable, if I'm not going too far, to say that, you know, we could see no one get an actual majority, 1,144 delegates, to win this nomination.
All right, well, let's talk about this. I mean, we had, Newt was there today accusing the president of waging a war against Catholicism. Mitt talked about his religion, of course, without mentioning it by name. Santorum made much of his self-professed piety. I imagine that plays very well with this crowd, but how much does a potential nominee want to be crowing about that at this point in the campaign?
Some of these folks are, even among evangelicals, they're pragmatic. Some of them are pragmatic, and they realize that a candidate that goes too far can just frighten the independents and their dogs, and they run for their lives, you know, and they're aware of that. And there's some concern Santorum maybe wears it on his sleeve, but he certainly played the God card today better than any of them. And as he did it, I kept thinking, why don't you just come out and say what you're saying? I'm not Mormon, and I'm not an adulterer, because that's basically what he was trying to get across.
Well, were there any surprises? I mean, anything that happened that was not to be expected?
I really thought that line of Romney's, which I didn't find it in his text. I think he ad-libbed again. Oops, he did it again. That phrase, I was a severe conservative. The man he's so awkward with the English language, maybe he ought to just go ahead and speak French.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess severe is better than just a horrible, horrible conservative. Craig Crawford, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here.